Hey, what's up guys, this is Tron Spectre here and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a Minecraft guide on how to build a mob farm. So basically what a mob farm is that it's a device that you use to easily get like mob drops and stuff. So basically at the top you have a section where the mobs spawn and then they drop down the chute and then they hit the ground. And once they hit the ground, the mob loot goes into the hoppers and then to the chests. And I'm going to be showing you how to build a mob farm, of course. So, what you need here is a hopper, a water bucket, a chest, and any building material you want. I'm choosing white concrete as well. So anyway, let's get started. So anyway, I am in a brand new world here. A brand new world I've just created here. Anyway, you can build this in any biome you want, it doesn't matter. So here is what you need to do. So start off by building these columns of concrete, of any material here. Of course, you want to do something like this. Yeah, start off with this, of course. Then you put the hoppers below like that, but anyway. Put the chest down here, and then you put the hoppers like that. You break the blocks under that are on top of the hoppers, of course. But we're going to be building like 4 hoppers here, so you need to add like this much. So you then break the blocks here. And yeah, this is going to be the part where your mobs are going to drop, basically. As you can see, the mobs are basically going to be dropping down here. Of course, I'm going to be getting rid of these extra blocks here, so that you can have like access to the mob loot at the bottom. And then afterwards, build a very tall tower here. I'm also going to be using some mob spawn eggs to test the height of the mob dropper, basically. So that's not high enough. I'm gonna build it way taller here and test it again. Yes, this is definitely a reasonable height, of course. So basically, make sure that that if you're building a mob dropper, it needs to be at a suitable height where the mobs hit the ground very hard, they drop their loot, of course. So of course, I'm going to be building it up here to this height, and then I'm going to be finishing up the tower here. Like this tall. It will be this tall. Like this. It should be like this. Very tall, like this. So anyway, I'm going to test out the height again. Yeah, I'm using creepers as the testing tool of choice. So I'm going to go ahead and break these break a few more blocks underneath so you can like get access to the chests, of course. Easy access. And yeah. Once they hit the ground, you get your stuff down here. And then afterwards, I'm going to be building a very large section of the mob farm here. This is going to the reason why we have these the water bucket is because we're going to be using it to basically bring the mobs down into the chute. Basically, it's a basic mob. It's a basic mob farm, to be honest. Here, so what we're building here is a mob farm, like I said before. That's going to be using the water bucket here. So the reason why we're going to be using this water bucket is because we're going to be using it at, like a conveyor belt here to bring the mobs down to this shaft. And we're also going to be testing out. We're also going to make sure that that the water is long enough here. If the water goes down the shaft, that means that this shaft is not long enough. So you have to repeat this process until the water stops to about here, basically. And then you do the same exact thing for 3 more times. You see that the water is like from the first test is disappearing a bit slowly because it's, yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and build another one here. Okay, let's go ahead and test out this here. Okay, this apparently is not long enough, so we want to make this a bit. We want to make this a bit longer, just like what we did with the other ones here. Also, this will be. Also, we're going to be keeping this part. I'm not going to break that part because we're going to be expanding that because we're going to be making the platforms where the mobs can spawn. So we're going to be repeating this over and over again until the water stops around here. Okay. We're going to be repeating this over and over again, testing it, making sure that the water is, stops to this edge here. Okay. Fix the time real quick here. Okay, you continue building like this, and then you test out the waterway too. You use the water bucket to test to see how far, if it's like far enough. Yes, this one's far enough. Okay, last one. You then use the water bucket again. If it's like this, remember, if the water goes down the shaft like this, then this water system is not long enough. So you probably want to basically get like a empty water bucket in case, but for some reason I'm using just the blocks because, yeah. You can also use blocks to stop the water flow after testing it, or use a bucket too, of course. Afterwards, we're going to also build the platform as well, and then enclose it. Yeah. And yeah, we're going to be building these platforms here, because these are going to be where the mobs are going to spawn, basically. And then we're going to be building another platform here. Yes, now we have all the platforms completed. Before we start on the enclosure, we want to also put an enclosure on this shaft here too. So yeah, before you build the platform and the waterways here, it's important to enclose the shaft first. Also, you're gonna need to like leave like a small space down here so that if there's mobs wearing armor or anything like that that makes it immune to the fall, you can definitely have this space here. You can definitely get a sword and also deal with the mobs that are wearing armor here. It could be skeletons or zombies wearing armor, basically. Alright, so anyway, when you're enclosing this shaft, you can also make sure that you can have tinted glass or any glass material that you can use, so you can basically see the mobs falling down, of course. You can either enclose it, or you can basically use, like, glass, so you can basically see the mobs falling and stuff. So you get to see how the entire shaft works, basically. So for mine, I'm going to be using tinted glass, basically. I'm going to be using tinted glass for the for this build. Okay, now that the shaft is done, it's time to build the enclosure for this platform here, so that mobs can spawn. So be sure that the height of the enclosure is about 4 blocks tall, basically, like that. And yes, when constructing buildings, it's best to start off with like a wireframe like this. Yeah, like this, before you fill it in. And now it's time to fill up these walls. Alright, finally we're going to be working on the ceiling. Alright, now that the platform is fully enclosed, mobs should definitely spawn here, because this entire area here is supposed to be dark. Basically, the reason why this area here is supposed to be dark is so that mobs can spawn. And once mobs spawn, they're gonna go down these waterways here, down this shaft, where they hit the hard landing, of course. Of course, when I say that, I mean when mobs spawn, they're going to be ending up on these waterways over here, and they will fall down and definitely hit the ground hard, basically, and that's going to drop their loot, which then goes through these hoppers and then directly to the chests. Well, anyway, to show you how it works, I'm going to add in a few creepers here, basically. So basically what they're going to do is that they're going to end up on the waterway here. See that one? It's going to go down the waterway here. And then it's going to go down the shaft. Like that. But if there are any mobs, like zombies or skeletons wearing armor, which makes them immune to the high fall, then there is and there are slots at the bottom which you can use. You can use your sword for this to take out these mobs that are wearing the armor and stuff. So I'm going to be setting the time set to midnight. Of course. And oh yeah, don't forget, you need to add in like lighting sources down here so that mobs don't spawn underneath this structure over here, because the structure here is very tall. Let me go ahead and set the difficulty hard. So the harder the difficulty, the more the mobs, and the more the mobs, the more loot you get, basically. Well, right now, there are no mobs spawning here, so I'm gonna be using some mob spawners, but it's gonna basically take some time for mobs to spawn over here. So yeah. Okay, I am back now, and this time I've placed some monster spawners in here to basically like boost the production of mobs here, basically. But please keep in mind that the time it takes for the mobs to spawn may take a long time, so it's best to be patient. It's best to wait as it's gonna take some time for mobs to spawn. Basically, I have these mob spawners here so that it boosts the mob spawning process, of course. But please keep in mind the mob spawning may take some time. So yeah, it's best to wait it out. Best to be patient. Of course, it takes time, of course, like I said before. So, so I have these mob spawners here to basically boost the mob spawning, the mob production, of course, and so to give you like a better look on how mobs are supposed to how the thing is supposed to work, of course, to see like the mob spawning platforms and waterways in action, of course. But please keep in mind, like I said before, like I said a million times, the mob spawning process is going to take some time, so it's best to be patient, of course. But anyway, uh, once you go to the bottom here, I'm gonna go ahead and light this up with torches, just so that it doesn't get too dark. And so yeah. Also, there's going to be a slot. Also, when the mobs drop to the ground, there's going to be some loose item. There's going to be like some loose there's going to be some like loose mob loot here and there and stuff. So I think it's best uh if we add in a trap door. Let's see which one. I'm going to basically choose this one here. Alright, let's not use this one. I'm gonna like go for the this one. Of course. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, you can also add trapdoors here. It's optional. Adding trapdoors here are optional too, so that you don't have to deal with like the mob drops and stuff, of course. So basically how it works is that over here, oh, okay. Yeah, over here, these are going to be where the mobs are going to spawn. So they are going to drop down this chute over here, this chute, and that's where they're going to hit the ground, basically, like that. Yeah, but with this design, you're sometimes going to be dealing with like loose mob drops, so it's recommended to build trapdoors, but this recommendation is like optional. You don't have to do it, but I highly encourage you to add in these trapdoors so you don't deal with like loose mob drops or anything like that. Well, anyway. Anyway, you just have to wait for the mobs to drop, and then you go to this chest, and this is gonna be where you're going to be, and that's gonna be where you're going to have your mob drops here. Your entire mob drops are going to end up in this chest, basically, and that's about it. Congratulations, you have finally completed your very first mob farm. It's a basic mob farm, to be honest. Well, basically, yes, you've completed your mob farm, so that pretty much concludes the the Minecraft guide on how to build a basic mob farm. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you in the next video, and as always, peace out.
Switch.